we come to the eukaryotic cell. Okay, so what are eukaryotic cells? Eukaryotic cells have well organized membrane bound nucleus and organelles. Okay, presence of membranes give clear compartmentalization of the cytoplasm. Okay, so presence of membranes will give what different compartments to different cells. Okay, like if we are talking about school, we know that the each and every class is having its outer boundary, so it can be differentiated from 9th to 10th and 11th to 12th. Okay, if this boundary was not there, we cannot be able to differentiate the 9th standard and the 10th standard. Okay, so in this way, in the eukaryotic cell, due to the presence of different membranes of the organelles, a particular compartmentalization of the cytoplasm is done. They have complex locomotory and cytoskeleton structures. This we'll learn in this chapter later. The genetic material is organized into chromosome. Okay, so the genetic material in them is organized into the chromosome. So they have well organized membrane bound nucleus and organelles. Presence of membrane gives a clear compartmentalization of the cytoplasm. They have complex locomotory and cytoskeleton structures, and the genetic material is organized into chromosomes. Okay, now the various cell organelles present inside the eukaryotic cells are cell membranes, cell wall, endomembrane system, which consists of endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosome, vacuoles. Then comes the mitochondria, plastids, ribosomes, ATS ribosomes, cytoskeleton, cilia and flagella, centrosome and centrioles, nucleus and microbodies. Okay, so these all cell organelles will be present inside the cell. Okay, once again we'll learn cell membrane, okay, cell wall, endomembrane system, mitochondria, plastid, ribosome, cytoskeleton, cilia, flagella, centrosome, centrioles, nucleus and microbodies. Here a beautiful diagram is given of the eukaryotic cell. Okay, this is the rough endoplasmic reticulum, lysosome is there, smooth endoplasmic reticulum is there, plasmodesmata are there, which are the connections, microtubule, nucleus, nucleolus, Golgi apparatus. Okay, then comes the nuclear envelope, so they are called the prokaryotic cell, plasma membrane, vacuole, mitochondria, okay, peroxisome, cytoplasm, chloroplast, etc. Okay, so we can say here that when the nuclear material is enveloped by a nuclear membrane, we call these organisms as eukaryotic. Now when we split the word eu means true and karyotic or karyon means nucleus, so true nucleus is present, which means that a particular nuclear membrane is there which is separating the genetic material from the other things in the cytoplasm. Okay, now here see, this is the plant cell is given and this is the animal cell. Okay, so it also has these all things: microvilli, plasma membrane, centriole, peroxisome, ribosome, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, nucleolus is there, nucleus is there, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus there, cell wall is not there. Okay, animal cell don't have cell wall, plant cell have cell wall. Okay, so this will not be there. Okay, but this I've given, this is given generally. Okay, now we come to the first organelle, that is the cell membrane. Okay, the cell membrane is the membrane. Okay, this is a cell membrane, other name is also the plasma membrane. Now when chemical studies on human RBC were going, they show that cell membrane is composed of lipid bilayer, protein and carbohydrate. Okay, when there was chemical analysis of this human RBC, it was found that it is composed of lipid bilayer, protein and carbohydrate. Okay, so in the diagram if we see, this is the protein, this is a lipid bilayer, Okay, and carbohydrate chain will also be there. See, this is the sugar. Sugar is nothing but carbohydrate. Okay, so lipid bilayer is in drawn in this way. These are the hydrophilic end, and these are the hydrophobic ends. So in this way lipid bilayer is there. Okay, in this way. So lipids, mainly phosphoglycerides, have outer polar head and inner hydrophobic tails. So when we are talking about the lipid which is present in the cell membrane, it has a polar head, that is the hydrophilic head, and the hydrophobic tail. Okay, these are the hydrophobic tail in this way. So the non-polar tail of the saturated hydrocarbon is protected from the aqueous environment. So when we are talking about the inner side, this is exposed, and when we are talking about the outer side, this is exposed. Okay, so the hydrophobic content is protected within the hydrophilic polar heads. Okay, so when chemical studies on human RBC was done, it was found that the cell membrane is made up of lipid bilayer, protein, and carbohydrate. Lipids, mainly phosphoglycerides, are present. Okay, you have to remember which lipids. Phosphoglycerides are present, which have the outer polar head and inner hydrophobic tails. So the non-polar tail of the saturated hydrocarbon here is protected in this way. This I will show you once again. See, this is the okay. See, these are what? These are the polar heads. Okay, on both sides. This is the outer environment and this is the inner environment, and these hydrophobic tails are there. Okay, so a phospholipid is made up of both a polar head and a hydrophobic tail, but it is arranged in this way so that the inner hydrophobic part is protected within the polar head. Okay, now the ratio of protein and lipid will vary in different cells. Example, in human RBC, it is membrane has 52% protein and 40% lipid. Okay, every cell will have a different lipid and protein content. Okay, so when we are talking about RBC, it is having 52% protein and 40% lipid. Based on the ease of extraction of the proteins, okay, membrane proteins are of two types, that is the integral protein, which are partially or totally buried inside the membrane, or the peripheral proteins which lie on the surface of the membrane. Okay, so here we can see here you can see the phospholipid very nicely. Okay, so see, these proteins are embedded into the membrane. So these are the internal proteins, and these proteins are only found on the periphery. So these are the peripheral proteins. Okay. So this is the lipid layer here. You can see here, this one I'm talking about, this is the lipid layer. It contains a phosphate head, that is polar and hydrophilic, and the fatty acid head, that is non-polar and hydrophobic. Okay, now Singer and Nicholson proposed the fluid mosaic model of the cell membrane. According to this, the quasi-fluid nature of lipid enables lateral movement of the proteins within the oral bilayer. Okay, according to this, it is a fluid mosaic model, and according to this, the proteins present inside the lipid bilayer can move to a particular extent. This ability to move within the membrane is measured by its fluidity, and so it is called as the fluid mosaic model. So here in the diagram you can say the red part is the lipid bilayer and blue part is the protein. So proteins are embedded in this way and they finally form channels and other things. Okay, so we saw what? We saw that RBC, it was the chemical studies on RBC who showed that the cell membrane is composed of lipid bilayer, protein and carbohydrate. Okay, then lipids, typically the phosphoglycerides are present inside the membrane, plasma membrane, which has the hydrophobic tails inside and hydrophilic head on the outer side. Okay, Then the ratio of protein and lipid can vary in different cell. Okay, example, in human RBC, the membrane has 52% protein and 40% lipid, and two types of proteins are present on the basis of the extraction. So integral proteins are partially or totally buried inside the membrane. Okay, and these will be not extracted very easily, and the peripheral proteins will lie on the surface of the membrane, and these protein can be extracted very easily. Okay, now the proposed model of the cell membrane, which is widely accepted, is the fluid mosaic model, in which Singer and Nicholson showed that it is a quasi-fluid nature of the lipids, in that the proteins can move within the bilayer, overall bilayer. So this the ability to move within the membrane is measured by its fluidity. Now comes the functions of the cell membrane. Now, transport of the molecule, the membrane is selectively permeable to some molecules present on the either side of it, and due to the fluid nature, plasma membrane can help in the growth, formation of intercellular junctions, secretion, endocytosis, cell division, etc. Okay, so here you can see here that it will help in the transport of molecules. See, these are all integral proteins and they are helping in transport of molecule. This is the extracellular space, this is the cell membrane, this is the inside of the space. So protein molecules can be transported with the help of these integral proteins. Okay, now types of transports which are found in the cell membranes are the passive transport and active transport. Okay, so as the name suggests, active transport will require a certain amount of energy for the transportation, and passive transport will be based on the gradient present. Okay, so movement of molecules, when you are talking about the passive transport, when the movement of molecule across the membrane along the concentration gradient, that is from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, occurs without the expenditure of energy, it is the passive transport. So in passive transport there are two types of transport, that is the simple diffusion and osmosis. So simple diffusion, movement of neutral solutes will occur across the membrane, and in osmosis, movement of water by diffusion occurs across the membrane. Now, polar molecules cannot pass through the non-polar lipid bilayer. Okay, so they require membrane carrier protein for their transport, and this is called facilitated diffusion. Okay, see here you can see in the diagram. Simple diffusion is a molecule is concentrated here. Okay, and this is very less here. So what will happen, according to the concentration gradient, the movement of molecules will occur according to the concentration gradient from higher to lower. Same thing is here and here. This, when occurs with solutes, it is called simple diffusion, and when water is transported by this method from higher concentration to the lower concentration, we call it as osmosis. Like you soak dry fruits and you have it. Okay, so when we soak raisins, that is kishmish, in the water, now the amount of pure water present on the outer in the bowl which is filled with the water has more water as compared to the kishmish, which is a dried thing. Okay, so water is removed, so now water is present on the outer side of the membrane, okay, in the bowl, and raisin is not having any water. So movement of water will occur along the concentration gradient, that is from water is in the bowl is higherly concentrate, is not the water concentration is more in the bowl, and inside the raisin it is very less. So water will move and the raisin will be puffed or it will be swollen. Okay, so it is what we call it as simple diffusion, when there is no requirement of any protein. But when we are talking about the polar things, polar solutes or other things, so we know that the lipid bilayer is like this. Lipid bilayer is like this. See, this is the lipid bilayer. Okay, so hydrophilic polar molecules will not move like they're moving here in the simple diffusion. So we required what? We required specific proteins. Okay, we'll require specific proteins which will help in the movement of these molecules across the hydrophobic tails. So in this, carrier proteins are required. See here and here, carrier proteins are required, and this is called what? Facilitated diffusion. Now we can say that first we call it as simple diffusion, and now we are calling it facilitated diffusion because diffusion of the polar molecule is also made easy with the help of these carrier proteins. So we are facilitating the simple diffusion, and so it is called as facilitated diffusion. Okay, see here and here. When the diffusion is occurring with the help of the protein molecules or the integral proteins which were present, then we call it as a facilitated diffusion. Okay, now active transport is the movement of molecules across the membrane against the concentration gradient. Okay, it is from lower to the higher. Okay, and this can only occur with the expenditure of energy, and here ATP is utilized, and the example is the sodium potassium pump. Okay, so this is the simple diffusion, this is the facilitated diffusion without energy, and this is the active transport where molecules are moving from higher concentration to lower to higher concentration. Okay, see here, you can see in the diagram, this square molecule is less on the outer side, but still it is moving inside with the help of this protein. So here it is occurring against the concentration gradient, and we require what? We require a energy, okay, for doing this purpose, and so ATP is utilized. Okay, and so when energy is utilized for doing any kind of transport, we call it as active transport. So in the transport system, we saw that there are two types of transport, passive and active. Passive is without expenditure of energy, and active is with the expenditure of energy. In passive transport, we saw two types, that is simple diffusion and osmosis, and facilitated diffusion. Okay, osmosis is the transport of water, simple diffusion, neutral solutes move, and when we need to move the polar molecules across the lipid bilayer, there is need for a carrier proteins, and the diffusion is facilitated with these carrier proteins, and so they are called, this method is called as facilitated diffusion. Okay, in active transport, we are going against the nature, we are going against the concentration gradient, that is, we are moving a molecule from its lower to higher concentration. Okay, generally molecules will move from higher to lower concentration, but what we are doing here, we are moving it from lower to higher concentration, that is against the nature's rule. So we need to expend energy, and that expenditure of energy will be utilized in the active transport, and so it is called as active transport. Okay, and the example is sodium potassium pump. So this was all about the cell membrane in the eukaryotic cell. Okay.